بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and ready for today's lesson, which is Unit 2 grammar. But before we do that, if you remember, when we took the pair work previously, we tried to come up with 3 true-false questions. We said, or I wrote, coffee is salty. It was false. Vegetables are healthy, which is true, of course. And it's good to eat too much chocolate, which is, of course, false. And remember, always remember, the theme of the unit is talking about food and eating the food. And the title of the unit, you are what you eat. So today's objectives for the grammar: write sentences in the short form. So we'll be taking the short form of the sentences, the short form here. Distinguish between separable and non-separable phrasal verbs. Write sentences using 3-word phrasal verbs. So we'll be learning all of that now. So phrasal verbs, let's read this together. A phrasal verb is made up of, from the word itself, phrase. Phrase, it means more than one word. And it's a verb. So it's a phrasal verb. Is made up of verb plus a particle. A verb plus a particle. So it has 2 parts. Verb and a particle. What is a particle? A particle is a word that is used as an adverb or a preposition. So the particle, it's either an adverb or a preposition. The particle gives the verb a different meaning. One verb can be combined with different particles to create different meanings. So if you have one verb and it can connect with more than one particle, each one has its own meaning. So let's take some examples here. Didn't you like the dinner? You only picked at it. So the phrasal verb here is picked at. This is the preposition here, and this is the verb here. You only picked at it. You notice here, picked at, it means eat without enthusiasm. Eat without enthusiasm. So you're not eating well here. Number 2, my sister picks on. Notice it's the same verb, pick, pick, but it's different here in the particle. Here it's at, and here it's on. Again, here, my sister picks on me for being a vegetarian. My sister picks on me. So picks on, what does it mean to pick on? Is to tease, to annoy. Pick on, it means to tease someone, to annoy him. We need to pick out. This is the third one here. So pick came with a third preposition here. Out, a restaurant for the celebration. Again, we need to pick out a restaurant for the celebration. Here, pick out, it means choose. Where do you want to go? You pick out any restaurant. So pick out means choose. Will you help pick up a gallon of milk on your way home? So will you pick up? So we have 4 now. Pick at, pick on, pick out, and pick up. And each has its own meaning, even though it's the same verb, pick. Will you pick up a gallon of milk on your way home? So pick up means get or buy, or maybe answering the phone. So when someone is answering the phone, it means he picked up the phone. So pick up, get, or buy. So notice here, it's the same verb, pick, but different particle here. At, on, out, up. Each one has its own meaning. Certain prepositions and adverbs are called particles when they are used with the phrasal verbs. For example, in the sentence, the books on the desk, the word on is a preposition. However, in the phrasal verb pick on, it is called a particle. So on, when it's connected to the verb, we call it a particle, not a preposition. The 2 words together, pick plus on, mean to tease someone. Continuing here, separable and non-separable phrasal verbs. So some you can separate and some you cannot separate. Separable and non-separable phrasal verbs. So let's read and understand. Some phrasal verbs are non-separable. It means you cannot separate them. The noun or pronoun always follow the particle. Again, some phrasal verbs are non-separable. The noun or the pronoun always follows the particle. So let's read it here. I ran into Rima at the supermarket. I ran into Rima at the supermarket, not I ran Rima into at the supermarket. You can't say I ran Rima into at the supermarket. I ran into her, not I ran her into. So, for example here, call for, come from, look into, tire of, when you're tired of something, come across, go on, run into, and turn out. So you can separate these phrasal verbs. You can't separate them. Many phrasal verbs are separable. So let's take the ones that we can separate here. Many phrasal verbs are separable. A noun object can come after the particle. So the object can, if it's a noun object can come after the particle. The chef cut up the steak into small pieces. Again, the chef cut up the steak into small pieces. So a noun object can come in between the verb and the particle. Again, a noun object, notice if it is an object, can come between the verb and the particle. So you can say the chef cut the steak up. Here it's cut up the steak. Here it's cut the steak up. So here we can separate the word cut and the word up. The verb cut and the particle up here are separable. So you can notice here, cut the steak up into small pieces. Unlike here, we cannot separate them. So this is the difference between the separable and non-separable phrasal verbs. If a pronoun object is used, so if the object here is a pronoun, if a pronoun object is used, it must, notice here, it's not optional, it must come between the verb and the particle, so in the middle. The chef cut it up. If it's a pronoun, like here, it, you must put it in the middle of the phrasal verb, between the verb and the particle. If the object, again, is a pronoun, like it here, it must come in the middle, between the verb and the particle up. Again, the chef cut it up into small pieces, not the chef cut up it. Again, if the object is a pronoun, you must put it here in the middle into small pieces. For example here, burn off, point out, talk over, turn down, cut up, just like the one that we previously took, cut it up here. Put on, tell apart, turn into, figure out, send back, think over, wake up, fit in, take off, throw away, whip up, give up, take out, and throw out. So again, if the object is a pronoun, you must put it in the middle between the verb and the particle. More examples here. Armando comes from Canada. I came across a new word in the paper today. Continuing here with the note, I won't spend time defending all of the expressions on the list in the chart right now. There are too many for them to remember at one time. They will come across many of the verbs in the exercise and other activities in the unit. You will learn meanings of this, the work with them. So we'll be learning a lot of separable and non-separable phrasal verbs through this unit. For example here, let's throw out these old bottles. Let's throw out these old bottles. Let's throw these old bottles out. So throw and out are separable. We put the object in the middle here. Let's throw them out. So the pronoun them here is in the middle. We don't say let's throw out them. If it's a pronoun, you have to put it in the middle. But if it's not a pronoun, you can say throw out these old bottles or throw these old bottles out. But if it's a pronoun, you have to put it in the middle. Throw out is an example of a separable phrasal verbs. It means to put something in the trash. With separable verbs, the object, in this case, these old bottles, this is the object of course, can go after the particle or between the verb and the particle. When the object is a pronoun, as we said before, it must go between the verb and the particle. Continuing here with 3-word phrasal verbs. So we took previously, there were just 2 words. Now we'll be studying 3-word phrasal verbs. 3-word phrasal verbs consist of a verb, a particle, and a preposition. So these are the 3 parts: a verb, then a particle. Also here we're adding preposition. 3-word phrasal verbs are non-separable. They are non-separable. You cannot separate them. The noun or pronoun always comes after the phrasal verbs. So whether it's a noun or a pronoun, they always come after the phrasal verbs. For example, here the doctor say you must cut down on sugar. So cut down on. So this is the verb here. Cut down is the particle. On is the preposition sugar. You don't say you must cut sugar down on. You can't put something in the middle here. You have to put the noun or the pronoun after the phrasal verb. So these are more examples here. Catch up on, drop out of, get along with, look forward to, come down with, feel up to, get rid of, make do with, come up with, get away with, load up on, run out of, cut down on, get down on, to look, get down to, look down on, take care of. And there are, of course, many more examples. Also, here is a language builder for you. Phrasal verbs are a very important part of English. Using a phrasal verb is often the only way to say something. As for example, with turn off or turn on the TV. So there's no other way to tell someone to turn off or turn on the TV without using the phrasal verb turn on or turn off. Other times, English speakers are more likely to use a phrasal verb than more formal single verb. For example, it is more common to say, I need to pick out some shoes to go with my pants than it's to say, I need to select. So people often use the phrasal verbs pick out, then the one word select some shoes to go with my pants. So people tend to use phrasal verbs more often. So let's get to exercise A here. Exercise A, complete the sentences with a particle from the box. Notice the particles here. For, into, off, on, out, over, and up. Some of the particles can be used more than once. You can use them more than once. Again, for, into, off, on, out, over, and up. So let's read this together and we'll be answering through as we read. My sister has gone too many crazy diets. So my sister has gone, number 1 here. Yes, has gone on too many crazy diets. Last month she was on a diet that called her to eat almost nothing but grapefruit all day. So last month she was on a diet that called her. So number 2 here is what? Yes, called for her to eat almost nothing but grapefruit all day. Initially, the diets seem to work. They take weight quickly. So they take weight quickly. So they take weight what? Very good. They take weight off because it's a diet. It takes weight off. They take weight off quickly. But a few weeks later, my sister always seems to put the weight again. So it's here. Is it off or on here? Yes, it's on, because a few weeks later, my sister always seems to put the weight on again. And the diets were making her tired and weak. I pointed this to her last week. So I pointed this. So point. Yes, very good. Point out. I pointed this out to her last week, and we talked my concerns. So we talked what? When you talk with someone about something, you say we talked it over. Very good. We talked over my concerns. It means we talked over my concerns. I asked her to figure a better way of losing weight. To figure what? To figure off or to figure out? Yes, very good. Of course, it's to figure out, to know, to figure out a better way of losing weight. She thought it and agreed. So she thought it over and agreed to give the crazy diet, to give up, to finish, to give up the crazy diets. She's going to look more sensible diets. She will search for more sensible diets. So she's going to look into. So to look into, it means to search for something. So she's going to look into more sensible diets, and she's going to try to burn calories with more exercise. So try to burn, very good, to burn off calories with more exercise. So now I think you get the hang of the particles that come after the verb. I think this is an easy exercise for you. Let's continue with the exercises here. Exercise B. Rewrite each sentence with a pronoun, then circle S if the phrasal verb is separable, or NS if it is non-separable. So if it is separable, we say S. If it is non-separable, we circle here the NS. We came across it. So we came across it, whether it's separable or non-separable. So number one, I'm going to send back this food. I'm going to send back this food. So we will rewrite this sentence with a pronoun. With a pronoun. So very good. I'm going to send it back. So it here is this food, of course. I'm going to send it back. I'm going to send it back. So is it separable or non-separable here? Do we circle the S here or the NS? Is it separable or non-separable? Of course, it is separable. I'm going to send it back. Number two, most people can't tell apart a yam from a sweet potato. Most people can't tell apart a yam from a sweet potato. So how do we rewrite this with a pronoun? How do we write it with a pronoun? We say most people. Yes, very good. Most people can't tell them apart. Can't tell them apart. So I think this you have the answer here. Of course, it's separable because here we said tell apart, and here we said tell them apart, because them came between tell and apart. As in here, send back, it came in between. Number four, you need to throw out the moldy cheese. So the phrasal verb here is, of course, throw out. Let's see whether it's separable or non-separable. You need to throw out what? The moldy cheese. So we say it here. So what do we say here? Very good. You need to throw it out. You need to throw it out. So here, of course, it's also separable. Number 4, I never tire of chocolate. I never tire of chocolate. I'm never bored from chocolate. So, very good. I'm never tired of it. I'm never tired of it. So it here came in the last. So this is non-separable. We didn't say I never tire it of, because tire of is a non-separable phrasal verb. That's why the object it came last, because we can't put it right here in the middle. So it is non-separable. Number 5, wake up Jenna for breakfast. Wake up Jenna for breakfast. So we say wake her up for breakfast. This is also very good, separable. Number 6, I never turn down dessert. So we have turn down, and the object is dessert. So what do we say here? Turn down. It's also separable. You say I never turn it down. So this is also separable. So these are the meanings of each phrasal verb. Send back, it means return. Tell something apart, to know the difference between two things. Throw something away, dispose of, to get rid of. Tired of, bored, the one with the chocolate here. Wake someone up, to make someone stop sleeping, to wake someone up from sleeping. Turn something or someone down, to turn down is to refuse. When you turn someone down, is to refuse his request. Say no. Also to lower, as in please turn down the radio. Exercise C here, complete the 3-word phrasal verbs. The 3-word. I don't feel up to going to dinner tonight. So I think this is an easy exercise. He ran to the supermarket because we ran milk. So ran milk. There's no more milk. So we say, very good, we ran out of milk. Number 2, these shoes are old. I think I'll get them. These shoes are old. I don't want them anymore. I think I'll get, very good, rid of them. To get rid of something is to throw it, dispose of it. Number 3, she has heart problems. Her doctor told her to cut fatty foods. No more fat foods. So, to cut down on fatty foods. Number 4, they came food poisoning after they ate the spoiled meat. So number 4 is they came, very good, they came down with food poisoning. Number 5, marathon runners often load pasta the night before a race. So marathon runners often load, very good, load up on pasta the night before a race. Number 6, we're trying the new Indian restaurant. Looking, when you want to try something in the future, so, and you're excited about it. So you're looking, very good, forward to trying the new restaurant, the new Indian restaurant. And also here a fun fact, some English speakers believe that it is incorrect to end a sentence with a preposition. As for example, let's see what they come up with. English Prime Minister Winston Churchill didn't like this rule. He is famous for saying, this is a rule up. This is a rule up with which I will not put. This was instead of the more natural. This is a rule I won't put up with. His bad sentence proves that it's sometimes best to end a sentence with a preposition. This happens most often when there is a phrasal verb. When there is a phrasal verb, and with that we reach the end of this lesson. See you next lesson inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.